Welcome back to the Partner Spotlight podcast with your host, Lex Mason, President of Weathermatic. This week, I'm joined by Glenn Bonick of Bonick Landscaping right here in Dallas, Texas. Glenn and his team have focused on the little things, brand integrity. The same thing over time has grown into a monster serving high-end residential properties throughout Dallas. Their client list is second to none. So let's dive in. And if you're wondering, how do you go up market into the prestigious neighborhoods of your local market, Glenn is the one to learn from. So if you're ready, let's get growing. Perfect. So Glenn Bonick, thanks so much for joining us here today. Thanks so much again for all your help with SmartCon and the support there that you and the team gave us. So thanks for being here.
You're welcome. It was a lot of fun getting to talk to everybody. It was a great event.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's start off with the first kind of a big question of how on earth did you get into landscaping? Now running one of the premier companies here in Dallas, Fort Worth. What ultimately kind of led you down the path to catching this bug, and a little bit about your background?
Well, so I was cutting grass in high school, and even before that, and had somebody that let me and a couple of buddies build her a gazebo and put in a hot tub and put in landscape. And I thought, this is pretty cool. So that's where it all started from. And, we've grown it grassroots. Grew small at first because it really was, me in a truck and growing. And as we got bigger and bigger and people referred us, it just naturally started to snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. That must have been quite some trust that she had in you there to install a hot tub and a gazebo right from the beginning, huh?
More than I would probably extend. Yes, it was.
No doubt. I think I get enough nerves at letting the neighbor come and walk our crazy dog. So yeah, kudos there to her. So like you said, even before that, so how did you ultimately start Bonick? Was this just an expansion of those routes of cutting residential lawns from the very beginning? Did you assemble any partners? How did you kind of formalize the business there?
Yeah, no, it was always me. I didn't go to college, so I just kept going as all my good friends left and went to SMU or Texas A&M or Texas. I stayed here in Dallas and just kept working. So then I got smart, incorporated back in '82, and we just grew slowly. It was primarily construction, small planting jobs, and then we had a maintenance route, and went through several generations of employees to finally get a crew to where I think maybe back in the mid '80s we were running 3 maintenance crews and a couple construction crews. And I think that's when it started to take off because it was really reputation. Again, it was small, much smaller work than we do today. But it was a reputation that built it and the opportunity to work with people.
Yeah, absolutely. The one of the things that we like to think about here is we don't always get it right the first time, right? With building a team is harder than it sounds. But it's pretty magical when you get the right group with the right skill sets, all pointed in the right direction, which is a whole nother topic.
Right.
Good things can happen. Good things can happen, and that's really one of the reasons why I've started putting together this little spotlight series. I've got a passion of sharing the opportunities that this industry has not only provided to me and my family and some friends here, but also the opportunities that it's really provided for business owners and leaders of landscaping companies. When you think about the different team members that you have there, the different industries and things like that they've come from, very rarely is landscaping associated with a lot of economic success. And I'm here to tell everybody, I've seen quite the opposite end of that spectrum. I've seen some incredible opportunities afforded to some of the best people that I've ever met in my life, and it all revolves around landscaping. So where was the kind of going off of that? Where was the point where Bonick kind of got over the hump and it started to become more than a pay the bills, was there some kind of pivotal moment, a contract that you won, or a new couple crews that came on board? Like, when did this thing turn from pay the bills into building a business?
So it's a great question. I think like I said, it happened slowly, but one of the probably most important parts or things is there was a landscape architect that came and paid me a visit back in, the mid 90s, I guess it was. Actually, it was the late 80s. And he was wanting to do our work. And at that time, we were doing design work per se. I would draw pictures, but I was not a landscape architect. And so we started a friendship and we started working together. We kept separate companies, but we worked together for a good 10 years and we grew. But I think what it really made a difference is he and I opened an antique shop. There was a garden antique shops. We did it down on a street called Henderson, which in Dallas, it was at the time where the greatest number of antique shops were. So we got a great draw from interior designers and architects and homeowners, affluent homeowners. And that's when I think we sort of turned the corner. More people knew about us. I learned about the power of marketing. And that's when we really started to grow.
I think that that's probably one of the things that stands out the most to me out of all the companies that we interact with, there at Bonick, is certainly marketing and imaging, but now when you think of Bonick and you see, I mean, whether it's on your website, whether it's the properties that you all talk about, and the client list and things like that. So often landscape owners in the beginning can be so hungry for any revenue, right? Any revenue is good revenue. And if I look at your business, today, you guys have stayed, the old saying, stay in your lane kind of deal, but you've really picked a lane and really gone down it. And so how did you keep the discipline or the team kind of centered around, this is who we want to be, and kind of stay the course? Was there ever any tangents or anything that people wanted to pursue that you had to kind of squash there? Or how did y'all stay going down this path that's led you to today?
That's a great topic. So I was the one with the tangents.
Okay. Yeah, you and me both.
And so it took me a while, but I finally learned. We did quite a bit of commercial maintenance for a while, a little bit of construction. It was good. It was fun. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't have the passion because I didn't have the same relationships. And that's when I found that we got real scattered in where are we doing. And, because I thought I was going to be everything to all people. And once we started getting our eyes recognized that certain people were appreciating high quality work with attention to detail, I knew that we didn't need to be all things to everybody. We needed to do what we do best, and that is execute great details and communicate with clients. So that's when we did. We shrunk in size a little bit. And it took a while to focus through and work through it. But as much as I admire the companies that do multiple principles of work, I don't know how they pull it off and stay true to any one. So I hope that sort of answers it. It really is just focusing on what you love and stay in that lane.
No, absolutely. And that's one thing here. Our business, we joke about it all the time. It's where we're the startup that's housed within a 75, almost 80-year-old business. So what we started out for, in the beginning, we were the same business for 50 years. And when the technology revolution really started happening, thankfully, right, the landscaping industry was not the first ones to run and embrace it. And so we were able to take a lot of lessons that other industries had deployed. And, 10 years after that, then, here comes the landscape kind of technology revolution. I think we're still right at the very beginning of, which is a great thing. But as soon as it happened, we had to look at who we are, divest from things that weren't aligned with that, restructure, staffing, restructure, kind of our value statement, our mission statement, And then to the other point of not chasing tangents, then we had to say no to even some of the traditional things that we had done for 40 or 50 years. Hey, we can't do those things anymore. If this is the business that we want to be, we have to pursue it with everything that we have and all the resources, because there's not enough resources to go around to do everything for everybody.
Right.
And really done that. So talking about that, are you members, or how do you guys stay involved with like the community? I know that's a big aspect of who you are, as a person, and your group and your company, I know, is involved with a couple different things. So how do you guys stay involved in the community and kind of raise awareness for your brand marketing wise there?
Yeah, so when you started to ask that question, I thought you were maybe going to go towards the industry. And I think that's one spot that it really did start and stays, is that early on, I was very involved in TALC, which was the Texas Landscape Association. And then they merged with I forgot the acronym, the nursery
TNLA?
industry.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's TNLA.
Yeah.
So, now the two are together, but back in the early years, I was so involved with that. And some of the great companies that are no more and some that were my mentors. And that's what really raised me. And what I really learned is the respect. And so I think that respect that I gained with the landscape industry and continue to is also what helps us with the marketing, because when people talk to other companies, and there's a lot of great landscape companies out there. I wish there weren't, but I'm actually glad there are, right? Because that's what brings it up. But people don't talk bad about Bonick, so that is their marketing for us, as I try to market for them. But I learned when it's going to the public a long time ago. So I got very lucky, and I married an amazing gal that came from or is in the marketing industry. And so she designed our logo, and she always impressed upon me and was always helping me brainstorm with, how do you get your message out there? And so she's helped me, and we brought other people on since then, that we are always trying to get out to the end user and tell them our story. Yeah. We're never trying to tell them what we can do for them, not trying to make a sale. There's never a call to action. We're showing them what things could be. And by that, we're painting a picture and becoming the expert. And I think that's what, over years, which we've got a lot of legs, and our real marketing started halfway through our tenure back in early 2000s. And that, just by being steady year over year, has built our brand. And it is about brand awareness. And so a lot of people, and I'm flattered when people hear the Bonick name and, ooh, is Bonick? Well, you've just been hearing about us for a long time. Call us, we'll show you what we really do.
I love that. And that's it's a message. I mean, our brand's been around a long time.
Yes, it has.
75 coming up on 80 years now, but the brand reputation, the brand awareness that you've built, it hasn't been an overnight thing. And so the slow and steady, win the race. There's been a lot of companies that have come on, not just here in the Dallas area, but everybody, kind of listening here, has companies in their market that make a big splash and spend a bunch of money and have a lot of things like right at the very beginning. And you start to see those kind of taper off, and you start to see, kind of quality pull back and corners cut and those kind of things. And, marketing and brand awareness and telling the story. And we had our own challenges of trying to say, hey, yes, we still have this 50-year, reputation, but who we are the next 20 or the next 30 years is very different. The same industry, same people that we're working with, but very different solution. So it was, brand awareness and just the overall marketing piece in itself can be so powerful if you get it right. But something that is one certainly over the course of time.
And that it is.
There's
you guys have done a great job. Like you were saying, when I was starting out 42 years, the Weathermatic valve was the valve the heads were the heads. And that's something that always stuck with me. Of course, I love it. They came from Dallas, Texas,
Yeah.
right? So how else can I be so proud? But it is the quality that you had and the steadiness that you were always there, which has always made the difference.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And it's been it's still the valve line, to this day, outside of our, about 60% of our annual revenue comes from certainly our controls platform and connected solutions and services and those items. But the other half, still 75% of that traditional business is valves. We've made them
Mm-hmm.
same way for 40, almost 50 years. And even through material changes and things like that have to happen to keep quality and improve that piece, it's been the core design that's lasted us from the very beginning, and has been replicated by many, as well. So you can't beat a good design, no matter how it's timeless.
Right.
So, well, hey, there's two things that I'd love to kind of dig into just a little bit,
Yeah.
Before we wrap up here, but two items that I think are on everyone in the landscaping industry's mind, and it's both kind of underneath the premise of growth, right? How do we grow sustainably? How do we grow, as much as we can, but still fulfill the work? And those two limitations of the word growth usually come down to something around recruiting and something around technology, right? We don't have the people, or we don't have the processes, or, things are too manual. So Glenn, if you could share with me, what are some things that you're doing either in the technology or in the recruiting space to maybe it's preserve, the growth that you've had, or even to prepare for the future?
Those are two big items, right? Technology is overwhelming, how far we've come and how far we have to go. So that's going to be exciting to see. And people are what drives technology, and that who operates it. We're talking about AI, so it's going to be interesting to see where that can or will go. Yeah, it's scary in the same breath. But we have to have good people that can do more with less, because we don't have the number of people. So that's where technology pays off. In your space with the sprinkler controllers, that has just been amazing for us. We would have 5 or 6, 7 or 8 different kinds of controllers on jobs, and we're trying to get guys in the field to learn how to use them all. I remember we had this controller wall with all these controllers, and trying to incentivize them to learn how to set them and to change them and do stuff like that. It never happened well. And so now, the market shrank. There were fewer of them, but now that you've got a tool, and it's truly an amazing tool, that a foreman can call up and say, "Hey, I got a problem." We can jump online immediately and turn things on and off. They can verify if it's working. So that has helped, because they don't know how to do the operations. But then it comes down to just managing the water. Oh my goodness, water savings is such a big buzzword right now. And so if we can manage it and deliver water better, that's what it's all about. So it's saving water, and then your checkout tool. That has been great. So I don't know, it's a good thing, revenue, but we've had to hire more irrigation techs because we're able to generate more work, and we're able to get a better system. It's still always working with people to operate everything. Even with technology, you've got to train them, but it is making it so fewer people can manage more getting done. Other technologies are software platforms. And you're going again, you're tying into some of the software platforms out there that the industry's on. So again, you're making it more seamless for creating proposals. That's two of the areas. Of course, we're a pool builder, so technology with a lot of the pool controls is kind of the same thing. I really wish you would get your platform to be able to work with some pool checkouts
Yeah.
and some of that work, because that will really be great when we can wrap it all into that.
Yeah, we have that has not been the first time
I know
that has been
it.
asked. Pool lighting, snow for our friends up in the north.
Yeah.
I the first time I heard the procedure that landscape and snow removal companies up north, do, the way they write their contracts around, hey, they can't basically book plowing revenue until the snow gets to a certain height on that property. Well, how are you going to figure out if that property, if the snow's to that height yet or not?
Right.
You're butting a truck, and is about it. And so anyway, there's some things that we'll hopefully we'll see sooner than later around those handful of situations. But I really appreciate your comments around the technology and our piece, and whether it's our tool or not, the landscape space in general. If we want to get through this, there is no getting through the labor crisis. It is the state that it is today. If people are thinking that, oh, it'll ease up, or the government's going to solve our problem, or there's going to be some new magic loophole, like whatever it may be, like those things don't exist. And so the companies that are continuing to do the same things the same ways, but yet spend all the time, complaining about, I can't find people, can't find people, can't find people. Well, buddy, it's time to wake up. They're not there. So how do you take what used to take 6 people, produce it with 4, and then put those other, those 2 additional kind of savings into revenue creation or revenue expansion goals? The messages that we preach around here really revolve around, there's a certain number of tasks that if you're going to have a landscaping business, that you're going to have to do around irrigation. There are going to be service calls. There are going to be seasonal changes. I mean, good Lord, if you want to sell any color, any overseed, any fertilizer or chemical applications, if you're going to do any fire ant treatments, if you're going to do any, parking lot striping or anything, creative like that, not having control and sending people back and forth and all over the place to accommodate those requests, it just drowns your resources. So again, whether it's with us, whether it's, something else, it's labor solution. It's not going to get any easier. And so we're just really encouraged to see how quickly an industry that in the past has not been very, accommodating to kind of the technology improvements here, people are now running towards it, and they're seeing incredible results. I was on the line with a couple other partners last week, actually, and they were sharing, triple digit increases in irrigation repair revenues from when they started to, where they are today. And that's what we're in this for, right? Is how do we help? And you made the comment earlier, you had to go hire more people because the revenue went up. Like that's a beautiful thing to be put in that position of, hey, we're growing, we got to go find more people to fulfill this stuff.
Right. That is. That's what we're here.
That's why we're here. On the recruiting side, last item, and then we'll give you back your day. How are you finding people? So in addition, of course, to the technology that you're investing in with us and with other things to kind of streamline operations and grow, any secrets to recruiting? Everybody's looking for that smoking gun. So what are you guys doing over at Bonick?
I honestly wish we had, the solution, because we don't. It's an ongoing battle. I'll tell you where I focus so much of our time is we need to be the company I would want to work at. Yeah. So if we can make the environment that from, our administrators, from our CFO, all the way down to the new guy, first time in the truck, enjoys coming to work, that's where we're recruiting. We need happy people, and then we work through our people to bring in their friends. Particularly in the field, that's where we have the best luck. Because if they enjoy it, if they're getting a benefit, if they feel rewarded and trained, so they feel whole when they come to work, they want to work with their friends. Then we go up the ladder into managers and things like that. And that's more difficult in some areas because we don't have as many people going to the colleges and in some of the horticulture and some of that we used to be. And not everybody wants to work outside anymore. But again, a lot of people do. So we've got to be that destination company. And that comes through taking care of our people and always talking about, how can we be better and how can we be desirable to the people you hang out with to come work with you.
Yeah, and it's fun I love talking about the destination company idea. And I think a testimony to that. I know that you guys have a lot of family members and a lot of friends and colleagues and stuff like that have helped lead the recruiting initiative. Here we did an HR study actually at the end of 2022 and found that 60% of our workforce is either A, somehow related, or B, what we call like a first degree friendship. Somebody who an existing Weathermatic, employee is talking to on a monthly basis before there. And it was so, honestly, it was flattering more than anything to go like, there are people here that, number one, would even be willing to subject their family to some of our craziness around here. Like that's one there. And then two, that they would bring their friends into it. And so it's a really powerful thing when you don't have to just rely on as great and valuable some of our recruiting relationships are. With recruiters that can help us specialize and find people out in markets that we don't have those kind of ties into. Being able to count on our internal folks to make recommendations and bring friends and family and colleagues and stuff like that into the fold, it really does make all the difference in the world. Having your team be your number one recruiting resource right there.
Yeah, it's a full-time job but you're building the company you want to work in, right?
Absolutely.
As long as everybody's
I wouldn't show up here if it wasn't fun. I couldn't. In
That's
fact,
right.
I'm dragging too much stuff from my house up here now and getting stuff sent to me, and I'm going, I don't know where I'm going to put all this stuff. But yeah, it's you have to enjoy where you come every day.
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, hey, Glenn, last thing is what's in the can coming up. So anything new that you're excited about that you've seen or heard about, kind of any whether it's a marketing initiative, some new piece of technology, or an event coming up, anything like that you or your team are kind of looking forward to here?
Well, we're looking forward to the what do they call themselves now? Not Al. Is it Alka? Yeah, it's Alka, right?
Yeah,
they changed their names. Okay, they keep changing. I'm playing. It was all I could put in my brain.
Oh, the NALP.
NALP. There we go. It's not Alka anymore. You see, they keep doing that.
Brain. I think the entire alphabet is out there now. So.
I know. So the NALP is coming to Dallas, Grand Prairie. Or I guess it's Grapevine. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're excited to have one hosted here in the hometown for once. Exactly. I'll get to sleep in my own bed. That's going to be a nice change.
Yeah, well, if you want to, yes, you can. But it's nice to have so many friends from the industry that'll be here and coming to Dallas, get to show off a little bit. So really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the rest of this year. We are getting ready to experience a slowdown. We're already feeling it on the phones, but I've been through several of them. I'm kind of excited to see how we go through it. It's going to be work, but I'm actually, be honest with you, I'm kind of excited what it shakes out and how things change. Because like I said, I've been doing this for 40 years, so I've seen a few of them. Every time on the backside has been a great thing. So that's what we're talking a lot about, is how we're going to handle that and how we're going to prime ourselves to catapult again when the economy kind of straightens back out. Not that I'm looking for anything deep. I don't think we will, but we already see that there's some unrest out there.
Absolutely. And there's going to be something when you flood the market with that many dollars and interest where it is, there's going to be changes and we're seeing and hearing the same things. Right. And I think that, one of the things that we're doing is we're looking at, hey, where are non-essential things that we can put into, critical things? Where can we double down on what's working and maybe, cut bait on some things that aren't? And so I'd encourage, anybody out there to look at if this is not the time for pet projects or things that you don't know about. We have to be fighting for growth and, long-term sustainability and profitability in everything that we're doing. Because if it does slip a little more than what people are thinking it's going to, then we've all got to be prepared. And so anyway, on that note, we'll wrap up. Glenn, really appreciate all your input here and sharing a little bit of your story. You've built an incredible business, and we love your team. And so anyway, it's been an honor to work with you, and appreciate you coming on here and sharing a little bit of your story.
Well, we appreciate everything you've done and everything that your whole family and the Weathermatic family has done for us. So thank you.